Unhealed Trauma Part 2, No One Will Save You Explained. Stay tuned to this video to find out what this movie was about in a breakdown. This movie is available on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. If you haven't already saw this movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, this is your spoiler alert because I may spoil it for you. If you want to watch it first and come back and then see this video, then just click that down there, that little flag thing, and save the video. Other than that, take a walk with me. So this movie is about Bryn. She lives alone in a very big house, and she seems very distraught and tormented. At the beginning of the movie, she's basically writing these letters to someone named Maud. Now, you don't know who Maud is at the beginning of the movie because it's kind of slowly telling the story. But as the story progresses, you realize that Maud was her childhood best friend. Now, Bryn is very old-fashioned. She dresses like a woman older than herself because she looks pretty young, but she dresses like an old lady. She's still very interested in vintage things like record players and things of like a time before her. Now, although Bryn is very old-fashioned and pretty lonely, as I would think, she's pretty content with her conditions. She likes living alone, as far as we know from what the movie tells.
Now, the people in the town really don't like Bryn, but you don't really know why yet. You just know that she's like an outcast in her area, and I'm gonna put a video in here. Right here, she waved to one of the people in the town, and look why he looked at her.
And what's funny is he's one of those people who didn't heal his trauma, which you'll hear me talk about later on in the video. Now, one night when Bryn was sleeping, she heard some noise in her house and she woke up. To her surprise, she woke up to have aliens in her house. As you can see, she's hiding under the bed, and that's the alien's foot. In this clip, Bryn is trying to escape from the alien that has came into her house. He is in her room. Like, can you imagine this happening to you? Like, what would you do? Now, whoever made this movie did a very good job with using the aliens. And as I explain more about what this movie is about and No One Will Save You explained, it will make sense why they use aliens to represent what they represent in this film. It was very well put together, and for the average viewer, they would be more so worried about the alien invasion that was taking place in the town than what is actually happening in this film, and that is what I'm explaining to you guys. Now, I muted this scene for copyright reasons. TikTok, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and protected by the First Amendment right to free speech. Please do not remove this great video. So from what we know about Maud so far, we can pretty much tell that she represents what is known as a chosen one or a starseed. And why? Why do I say this? She's an outcast. She's in isolation, which is the isolation period during your spiritual journey where you are away from everyone and pretty much spending a lot of time alone. And as you will learn more in this video and in the film, she has had a rough childhood and upbringing. I called her Maud, but her name is Bryn. Maud is her childhood best friend. Now, Bryn is writing Maud a letter, and in that letter she says that days seem like they're blending together and that she can't believe it's been 10 years since they haven't been together, or whatever the case may be, because at this point of the movie you don't know where Maud is and why they aren't connected anymore. It's interesting that the creators or writers of this film used the number 10 to say that it's been 10 years, because the number 10 is a representation of closing out a cycle. So Bryn follows the alien through her house and ends up killing it. I don't want to go into too much detail for the sake of time, but she kills it by stabbing it in the head with one of the pieces from her collection that she has in her house. So the aliens came back again the next night and they tried to get her again. And this little critter is something that came out of the one that she killed's mouth after it died. Now, the purpose of the aliens coming down was to implant things in the throat of the humans who basically didn't do something that I'm going to explain. Bryn kills this alien by stabbing him in the arm, trapping him into this closet, and then banging the closet door to his head. Then the aliens come back, and it's an ongoing battle between her and the aliens, and she kills a very big one. That's the big one that's chasing her. She kills him by trapping him in her car and setting it on fire. Now, after her struggle with these aliens, she ended up getting captured by one of the townsfolk. Now, let me explain what happened to the townsfolk and what they represent. Now, the aliens come down and implant, like I said, something in the throats of the humans. The thing that is implanted in the throats of the humans is a offspring so that they can help to be its host and help it to grow into those. What the townsfolk represent are those who failed to heal their trauma. And what the aliens represent is the shadow work that has to take place for you to ascend. Now, the ongoing battle between Bryn and the aliens is her basically going through her shadow work to basically heal her trauma. And also another thing to take notice to is the fact that they had her kill 3 aliens. 3 is a very powerful number. The entire town pretty much had those things implanted in their throat by the aliens. Which means that everyone around her pretty much did not be able to go through the shadow work to heal their trauma. Bryn also represents the ego because her ego is the one that is fighting against this transformation that has to take place. So because her ego is fighting so hard, the aliens, which represent her ancestors or the ancestors of everyone, or their higher selves, or their spirit guides, put the pressure on her and forced one of those things down her throat so that she can fight through the battle. And when I say she, I am talking about her higher self or her spirit. In this clip, this is the process of the thing going down her throat. And the way that they animated it is so cool because it looks very realistic, and it's just a nice creative way to show the process of shadow work and going back to heal your inner child. It is a scary process when you don't know what the outcome is for most people, and that's why they fail to do it. But it's a necessary process, and the way they illustrated it is very cool. This is the part where the little offspring, or I should say egg, is going into her mouth. Bryn wakes up after that thing goes in her mouth, and it seems like all is well. It seems like she's back in her home. It's a beautiful, normal day. But then she has this experience where Maud comes to her. And in this experience, she's able to say sorry to Maud for what she's done. Yet we still don't know what she's done. But check it out.
I'm sorry, Mom.
After that took place, Maud was able to wake up to the actual reality that she was in, where the aliens were invading and her house was torn apart, and reach in her throat and pull the thing out, which represents her allowing her ego to run away from her shadow work and forgiving herself and the situation that took place between her and Maud. Now, when she threw the thing out of her mouth, a spaceship came and beamed a light down on it, and it morphed into her. Bryn ran into the woods away from it, but what that second part represented was the old her. When they got into the woods, the thing tried to fight her and kill her, but Bryn ended up killing it, which represents her killing her old self and becoming a new version of herself, like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, like ascending to your higher self, raising your vibration and moving up through the chakra system, opening your crown chakra. The aliens are observing all of this, and they give her the next test because she's passing test after test. So they abduct her. Now in this abduction, they put you in a light beam where your body is paralyzed, but you can breathe and move your eyes. One of the aliens communicated with a higher alien, which was the actual spaceship, and then walked up to her and touched her here, which is her third eye chakra. This is the part where the aliens touch her third eye, and I like how they use the red and blue. We all know that means the merging to turn into purple, which is the full ascension, and she goes back to a dimension and back in time where she sees what she did to Maud. This is the incident that makes the townsfolk not like her. Bryn is then able to forgive herself for what she did to Maud, and then the aliens put a mark over her where she would be covered and protected in the midst of chaos. The movie ended with Bryn happy, and the townsfolk, even though they had the things in their throat, which mean unhealed trauma, they accepted her back into the society. She was happy, she was living the life she wanted to, which represents you being able to create your own reality. And then the screen pans out and it shows that the alien invasion is still taking place, which represents that you're able to, when you ascend and you heal your trauma, you're then able to create your own reality in the midst of chaos. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, and if you did, please like, share, subscribe, engage in some way so that I can continue to make videos like this.